Chosen one, let me reveal something most people never discover about themselves or the world around them. You have spent your entire life being interpreted through lenses you did not create. Every person who meets you filters you through their past, their heartbreaks, their betrayals, their disappointments, their insecurities, their fears, and their unresolved wounds. Long before they see you, they see the shadows of what damaged them. This is why one person calls you an angel and another calls you a threat. It was never about your identity. It was always about their history. Every opinion formed about you begins inside them, not inside you. Most people have never actually seen you. They've only ever seen their wounds wearing your face. This is the part no one tells you. This is the truth most people never learn in their lifetime. You are not navigating people's perceptions. You're navigating their projections. Every person you meet carries an internal archive of unresolved emotions, buried memories, past betrayals, childhood conditioning, heartbreaks, insecurities, biases, expectations, and fears they never dealt with. That archive becomes the lens they use to see the world. And when they look at you, they're not seeing truth. They're seeing a reflection of themselves. This is why one person swears you're the kindest soul they've ever met, while another describes you as cold or distant. Why one says you're genuine and trustworthy, while another says you're hiding something. Why one feels safe around you instantly, and another feels intimidated just by your presence. They're not responding to your character. They're responding to their wounds. Psychologists call this perceptual distortion, the mind's habit of distorting reality to match internal pain. But spiritually, it's even deeper than that. Your presence awakens something inside people, and whatever is unresolved in them rises to the surface. Some people meet you and see healing. Others meet you and see threat. Same you, different wounds. You might think someone dislikes you for your personality, but the truth is this: they dislike how they feel when they're around your clarity, your calm, your intelligence, your confidence, your intuition, your energy, your integrity, or your honesty. You unknowingly activate the part of them they've avoided for years. If someone has abandonment wounds, they expect you to leave. So they interpret your independence as detachment. If someone has trust wounds, they expect betrayal. So they interpret your boundaries as secrecy. If someone has insecurity wounds, they expect rejection. So they interpret your confidence as arrogance. If someone has control wounds, they expect compliance. So they interpret your strength as rebellion. Do you see the pattern? You are not meeting people as a blank canvas. You are walking into rooms full of emotional graffiti that existed long before you arrived. And here's the wild part. The more healed, grounded, and self-aware you become, the more clearly you see this dynamic, and the more violently some people project onto you, because now your presence is clean. Their lens is not, and the cleaner your spirit becomes, the dirtier their projection appears. Your glow irritates their darkness. Your peace destabilizes their chaos. Your self-awareness confronts their denial. Your growth threatens their stagnation. Your authenticity exposes their mask. Your stability challenges their turmoil. Their reaction has nothing to do with who you are, and everything to do with what they've never healed within themselves. So, chosen one, hear this clearly. You were never too much. You were never confusing. You were never the villain. You were never the problem. They were at war with their wounds, and they used your face as the target. And once you understand this truth, you stop taking things personally, because you finally see that most people were never reacting to you. They were reacting to their own reflection. Chosen one. Let's go deeper. If the first part is revealed, why people project their wounds onto you, this part explains why the projections look so opposite, so dramatic, and so emotionally inconsistent. It's because you don't fit the script they wrote in their minds long before they ever met you. Every person carries a subconscious template of who people are supposed to be, predictable categories, familiar roles, and mental shortcuts that make the world feel safe and controllable. Their mind wants life to be simple. This person is kind. This person is needy. This person is confident. This person is weak. This person is the helper. This person is the rebel. But then you walk in, and you don't fit any of those boxes. You are too layered for their labels, too complex for their categories, too authentic for their assumptions, too evolving for their outdated expectations. You disrupt their mental script just by existing. When someone's mind can't neatly label you, they experience discomfort, because now they're forced to think, to observe, to understand, instead of relying on old assumptions. And most people don't like doing that work. So instead of adjusting their understanding of you, they adjust their opinion of you. Instead of updating their perception, they rewrite the character they assigned you. That's why one person describes you as gentle, while another insists you're distant. Why someone calls you a blessing, while someone else calls you complicated. Why some say you're too quiet, and others say you're intimidating. Their reactions are not reflections of your identity. They're reflections of the role they expected you to play. If someone needed a savior, they saw you as a healer. If someone needed someone to blame, they cast you as the villain. If someone needed control, they labeled you as weak. If someone feared abandonment, they labeled you inconsistent. If someone needed validation, they labeled you cold. If someone needed someone to look up to, they labeled you inspiring. You didn't choose the role. Their wounds chose it for you. Here's the deeper truth. People don't react to your personality. They react to the story they're trying to force you into. Your confidence disrupts their expectation of weakness. Your silence disrupts their expectation of submission. Your calmness disrupts their expectation of chaos. Your boundaries disrupt their expectation of access. Your depth disrupts their expectation of simplicity. Your authenticity disrupts their expectation of performance. You don't fit their narrative, so they create a new one. You don't fit their stereotype, so they twist your traits. You don't fit their fantasy, so they rewrite you as something else. But the truth is simple. Chosen one, you were never meant to fit their script. You were meant to break it. You were meant to challenge the shallow. You were meant to disrupt the predictable. You were meant to shatter the false assumptions people cling to, because your existence forces people to confront the limits of their perception. And for many, that's too much honesty to handle, so they rewrite your character instead of rewriting themselves. Chosen one. Here is where everything begins to make sense. If you've ever wondered why people have such intense, dramatic, or polarized reactions to you, the answer is simple but uncomfortable. Your presence acts like a mirror, not a physical mirror, a spiritual, emotional, and psychological one. You don't reflect back the version of themselves people want to believe in. You reflect back the version they've been running from. Every person carries an internal image of themselves, who they think they are, who they pretend to be, who they hope others believe they are. But when they stand in front of someone like you, someone grounded, self-aware, intuitive, emotionally mature, and spiritually aligned, that image cracks. Your presence exposes the difference between who they claim to be and who they actually are. For some, this reflection is beautiful. They see their potential. They see their strength. They see the greatness inside them they lost sight of. Around you, something ancient awakens, a desire to grow, evolve, heal, and rise. These people admire you, respect you, and feel inspired just by being near you. But for others, the reflection is terrifying. You reflect the insecurity they hide behind confidence. You reflect the jealousy they disguise as criticism. You reflect the avoidance they call peace. You reflect the unresolved wounds they hoped no one would ever notice. You reflect the weakness they mask with arrogance. You don't try to expose them. Your alignment exposes them. It's not what you say. It's not what you do. It's simply who you are. Your self-awareness confronts their denial. Your emotional intelligence confronts their immaturity. Your growth confronts their stagnation. Your peace confronts their chaos. Your authenticity confronts their performance. And because they're not ready to face the truth within themselves, they blame you for what the mirror shows. They say you're too intense because your presence magnifies their lack of depth. They say you're hard to read because your clarity reveals their confusion. They say you're different because you don't fit their emotional shortcuts. They say you're intimidating because your spirit highlights where theirs needs work. Remember this truth. People respond to you based on who they become in your presence, not who you are. Some rise, some resist, some elevate, some collapse, some heal, some hide. The mirror you carry is neutral. It doesn't judge. It doesn't punish. It simply reflects. And the reaction you get from people has nothing to do with your worth. It has everything to do with the reflection they're forced to see when you walk into the room. Chosen one. Now, we step into one of the most powerful reasons why certain people react strangely, aggressively, or inconsistently around you. A psychological and spiritual phenomenon called cognitive dissonance. And, whether you realized it or not, you've been triggering it your whole life. Cognitive dissonance happens when someone's identity, beliefs, and behavior don't match, and your presence exposes that misalignment. Instead of adjusting themselves to the truth, they try to adjust the story they tell about you. You become the mirror that confronts the lie they've been living. Many people walk around with a carefully crafted image of who they think they are. A good person, a loyal friend, a strong individual, a wise decision-maker, someone in control, someone spiritual, someone healed. But their behavior does not match those claims. And when they meet someone like you, someone who does live in alignment, their internal contradictions start rising to the surface. Your honesty exposes the places where they lie. Your clarity exposes the places where they're confused. Your integrity exposes the places where they're compromised. Your growth exposes the places where they remain stagnant. Your courage exposes the places where they choose fear. Your stability exposes the places where they are unstable. Suddenly, their mind experiences a clash. I'm a good person, yet why do I feel threatened by someone who isn't harming me? I'm confident, yet why do I feel insecure next to them? I'm truthful, so why do I feel exposed by their presence? This internal conflict creates discomfort, a tension their ego cannot handle. Instead of dealing with the truth revealed within themselves, they seek an easier escape. They change their perception of you. It's much easier to label you as arrogant, too intense, or difficult than it is to face the dissonance inside them. It's easier to demonize you than to admit they're not living in alignment. It's easier to resent you than to acknowledge the gap between their claimed identity and their actual behavior. So they rewrite the narrative, not because it's true, but because it's comfortable. Cognitive dissonance makes them feel threatened by your authenticity. They don't want your light, not because it's harmful, but because it illuminates their shadows. They don't want your strength because it highlights their weakness. They don't want your clarity because it disrupts their illusions. They don't want your truth because it contradicts their performance. Here is the deeper revelation. People would rather change the version of you that lives in their mind than change the version of themselves that lives in reality. Your presence challenges who they pretend to be, and for many, that's a confrontation they are not ready for. So, chosen one, understand this. Their discomfort is not your fault. Their hostility is not your burden. Their judgment is not your truth. You didn't trigger their negativity. You triggered their awakening, and they resisted it. Chosen one. One of the biggest reasons people form extreme, contradictory opinions of you is because your consistency exposes their inconsistency. You are steady in a world full of emotional turbulence, and that alone causes certain people to react in ways that seem irrational, but are actually deeply revealing. Most people do not live with inner stability. They shift depending on who they're around. They change their tone depending on what they want. They adjust their morals depending on convenience. They alter their personality depending on the attention they seek. Their identity is a moving target, fragile, flexible, and often fabricated. Then, someone like you enters their life. Someone who is grounded. Someone who is predictable in character. Someone who doesn't switch faces. Someone who stays aligned whether people approve or not. Your consistency becomes a spotlight, not on you, but on them. When someone's entire sense of self is built on shifting sand, a stable person feels like a threat, because now the contrast is undeniable. Your reliability exposes their unreliability. Your calm exposes their volatility. Your honesty exposes their excuses. Your patience exposes their impulsiveness. Your strong boundaries expose their lack of discipline. Your emotional steadiness exposes their inner chaos. They start feeling embarrassed around you without understanding why. They start feeling judged even though you said nothing. They start feeling defensive because your character reveals their contradictions. This is the unspoken truth. Inconsistent people feel safest around other inconsistent people. It helps them hide. But someone like you disrupt their hiding place. You show everyone exactly who they are without even trying. This is why people flip their opinions about you so quickly, because every time their behavior contradicts the version of you they created in their mind, your actions silently correct the narrative. If they tried to paint you as weak, your resilience disproves them. If they called you dramatic, your calm disproves them. If they called you unreliable, your consistency disproves them. If they called you confused, your clarity disproves them. So what do? They change the story. Again, not because you changed, but because their old story can no longer hold up against the evidence of your character. People who lack stability rely on confusion to maintain an image. Your stability takes that option away, so they label you differently depending on what makes them feel safe in the moment. But here's the deeper revelation. Their shifting opinion is not a reflection of your identity. It's a reflection of their inability to hold one. Your consistency forces people to confront their instability. And for many, that confrontation feels threatening, humiliating, or uncomfortable. Chosen one, hear this clearly. You were never too steady. They were simply too unstable to stand beside someone who didn't wobble when they did. Your consistency is not the problem. It's the proof of your growth, the proof of your strength, and the proof that their perception was never about you. It was about the parts of themselves they weren't ready to face. If this part spoke to your spirit, drop a comment below. I stand in my truth. Your engagement helps this message reach other chosen ones who need clarity, strength, and confirmation today. Like, share, and subscribe to keep this movement growing. Chosen one, here is another truth that explains why people's opinions of you swing so dramatically. You see behind their masks, and they can feel it, even when you say nothing at all. Most people don't interact with the world from a place of truth. They interact through performance. They wear masks made of ego, fear, insecurity, charm, false humility, or confidence that isn't real. They survive by pretending. They navigate life by hiding. But you don't operate on performances. You read energy. You read tone. You read silence. You notice what people don't say. You pick up on shifts others overlook. You can sense intention before someone finishes speaking. Your discernment is sharp, not because you're suspicious, but because your spirit is awake. People with pure intentions feel safe with you instantly because they have nothing to hide. But those who rely on manipulation, half-truths, or emotional disguises feel exposed around you, even if you haven't said a single word to them. Your presence alone makes their mask feel too tight. Your intuition catches the behaviors they try to bury. Your awareness catches the motives they hope no one sees. Your sensitivity catches the emotional inconsistencies in their stories. Your insight catches the self-serving agenda underneath their kindness. This makes some people uncomfortable in ways they can't logically explain. They don't understand how you know things. They don't understand how you sense things. They don't understand how you see through them. But you do, effortlessly. And instead of admitting that their mask doesn't work on you, they label you as the problem. They call you intense because you notice details. They call you intimidating because you see patterns. They call you too discerning because you're not easily manipulated. They call you guarded because you don't fall for surface-level charm. These labels are not reflections of you. They are confessions of what your presence reveals about them. Your insight disrupts their illusions. Your clarity disarms their tactics. Your intuition blocks their manipulation. Your awareness exposes their inconsistencies. For people who live honestly, this is refreshing. For people who live dishonestly, this is threatening. But the truth remains. You don't see through people because you're judgmental. You see through people because you're spiritually awake. Mask wearers fear those who can see their real face, not because the face is ugly, but because truth removes control. Your discernment is not a burden, chosen one. It is protection. It is armor. It is spiritual sight. You were never meant to be fooled by what is false. You were designed to recognize truth, even when it's hidden behind a smile. Chosen one, It's time to understand another dimension of why people react so differently to you, and why their opinions can swing from admiration to confusion without any logical reason. It's because your energy doesn't just enter a space, it transforms it. Most people walk into a room and adjust themselves to whatever atmosphere is already present. They shrink if the energy is tense. They soften if the energy is loud. They imitate whatever emotion dominates the environment. But you were never built to blend in. You shift the atmosphere without even trying. When you walk into a room, something changes. People feel it in their nervous system before they feel it in their mind. The air becomes clearer. The energy becomes sharper. The emotional tone becomes more honest, more exposed, more real. Your presence awakens people. Some feel more alive around you, like they can breathe deeper, think clearer, or feel safer just by being near you. Your energy elevates them. It brings clarity to their confusion. It brings confidence to their uncertainty. It brings calmness to their anxiety. These people are inspired because your presence aligns with the version of themselves they want to become. But others experience the exact opposite. Your energy disrupts whatever they're trying to hide. Their jealousy surfaces. Their insecurity shakes. Their secrets feel heavier. Their intentions feel exposed. Their emotional chaos becomes louder inside of them. Your presence stirs their spiritual, emotional, and psychological sediment, the things they never wanted anyone to notice. You don't have to confront them. You don't have to speak. Your energy does the work. For some, this is healing. For others, it's threatening. But for all, it is undeniable. You carry a frequency that doesn't match the world, a frequency of truth, alignment, intuition, depth, and spiritual clarity. Rooms are not neutral to you. They either rise or recoil. This is why strangers open up to you, children gravitate toward you, animals trust you instantly, manipulators feel uneasy, insecure people misinterpret you spiritually, aware people honor you emotionally, unstable people project onto you. Your energy acts like a spotlight, not on yourself, but on whatever darkness, light, confusion, or truth already exists in the room. And because people feel different around you, they create different narratives to explain the emotional shift happening inside them. Those who rise with you call you a blessing. Those who resist you call you too much. Those who fear you call you intimidating. Those who admire you call you powerful. Their reactions reflect the environment inside them, not the environment inside you. Chosen one, understand this. You don't adapt to atmospheres. You set them. And not everyone is ready for the shift you bring. Chosen one. Now we reach a truth many people will never admit out loud. Your silence is one of the most powerful forces you carry. Not your arguments, not your explanations, not your defenses, not your reactions. Your silence. Silence is uncomfortable for people who depend on noise, manipulation, confusion, or emotional chaos to survive. Silence strips away excuses. Silence exposes motives. Silence reveals what the performance was trying to hide. When you don't respond the way they expect, when you don't react to their drama, when you don't chase their validation, when you don't feed their ego, when you don't justify yourself, your silence becomes a mirror that shows them exactly who they are. Your silence reveals their insecurity because they expected you to reassure them. Your silence reveals their guilt because they know what they did. Your silence reveals their manipulation because control only works on people who engage. Your silence reveals their true loyalty because distance exposes every hidden intention. Your silence reveals their ego, because your lack of reaction forces them to face the truth without distraction. When you choose silence, people finally hear the sound of their own conscience, and many can't handle it. Some will become agitated because they cannot control the narrative anymore. Some will project negativity because they can't stand being alone with their truth. Some will spread stories because they need noise to cover their internal discomfort. Some will distance themselves because your peace makes their inner chaos unbearable. And others will grow to respect you deeply because they recognize the strength it takes to say nothing. Here's what you must understand. You don't need to defend your character. You don't need to prove your purity. You don't need to explain your intentions. You don't need to justify your decisions. Your silence already communicates everything. It communicates boundaries. It communicates discernment. It communicates self-respect. It communicates emotional maturity. It communicates, I see you, I understand you. I'm choosing peace over performance. Silence is not weakness. It is strategy. It is strength. It is spiritual clarity in action. You are not called to participate in every conflict, address every lie, or correct every misunderstanding. Some lessons are meant to unfold without your involvement. Some truths reveal themselves when you stop speaking. Some people expose themselves when you stop engaging. Your silence removes the fog. Your silence unmasks intentions. Your silence exposes the truth better than confrontation ever could. Chosen one, hear this. Your silence is not empty. It is loaded. It is powerful. It is divine. And it reveals what words cannot. Chosen one, here is a truth that will make your entire journey suddenly make sense. Your growth exposes people long before your success does. Elevation doesn't just change your life. It reveals theirs. The moment you begin to rise, evolve, heal, or step into a higher version of yourself, something happens in the spirit. The masks around you start falling off. People who once felt comfortable around you suddenly shift. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your growth disrupts the version of you they depended on. Your growth forces them into clarity. Clarity about their true feelings toward you. Clarity about their intentions. Clarity about their insecurities. And clarity about their motives. Some people were rooting for you as long as you stayed beneath them. Some people supported you as long as you needed them. Some people loved the old you because the old you didn't challenge their ego. Some people liked you better when you were quiet, unsure, dimmed down, or doubting yourself. The moment you started rising, the moment you healed, the moment you pulled your energy back, the moment you began to see your worth, their behavior shifted. Why? Because your growth made their stagnation louder, because your strength exposed their weakness, because your evolution highlighted where they refused to change, because your confidence confronted their insecurity. Your growth activates people, not just upward, but outward. Some people feel inspired. They rise with you. They celebrate your progress because it awakens something in them too. But others feel threatened. They distance themselves. They make excuses. They suddenly can't relate. They create tension where none existed. They rewrite history to protect their pride. They speak against you to disguise their jealousy. Your growth didn't create their motives. It exposed them. This is why, as you elevate, you lose people you once thought were permanent. It's not rejection. It's revelation. Your journey forward reveals who cannot walk with the version of you that God is building now. Some will adjust and grow with you. Others will fall away, not because you outgrew them, but because they refused to grow themselves. Chosen one, don't mourn the people your elevation exposes. Celebrate the clarity. Your growth is your filter, and everyone who cannot hold your new level was never meant to stay at it. Chosen one, this is the final truth. The truth that frees you from every misunderstanding, every false story, every rumor, every misjudgment, and every emotional contradiction people have ever placed on your name. People do not see you as you are. They see you as they are. Every opinion formed about you begins inside them, not you. Their perspective isn't a mirror of your identity. It's a confession of their inner world. If someone is healed, they see your kindness clearly. If someone is insecure, they misinterpret your confidence. If someone is jealous, they twist your strengths into flaws. If someone is honest, they recognize your integrity. If someone is manipulative, they assume you have hidden motives. If someone is spiritually awake, they feel your depth immediately. If someone is spiritually blind, they cannot understand your purpose. Their perspective reveals their soul, not your truth. This is why the same person who once admired you can suddenly distrust you. Why someone who barely knows you can feel threatened by you. Why one person sees a blessing and another sees a problem. Why some recognize your light and others fear your clarity. They are not reacting to your character. They are reacting to the parts of themselves your presence reveals. Your strength exposes their fragility. Your honesty exposes their denial. Your boundaries expose their entitlement. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your growth exposes their stagnation. Your authenticity exposes their masks. Your spirit exposes their shadows. You cannot control how someone chooses to interpret you. You can only control how you carry yourself. And chosen one, you have carried yourself with truth. God did not call you to fit into people's expectations. God did not create you to adjust to their insecurities. God did not design you to shrink into their misunderstanding. God did not place a destiny inside you just for it to be defined by human perception. People's perspectives shift because their internal landscape shifts. Their wounds, their ego, their healing, their brokenness, their motives, their maturity, their alignment or lack thereof. But your identity, your calling, your worth, your spirit, your purpose, untouched, unchanged, unbothered. Chosen one, release every false opinion spoken over your life. They were never yours to carry. People were never describing you. They were describing themselves in your shadow. Walk forward knowing this. Your truth does not move just because their perception does. If this message spoke to your spirit, chosen one, take a moment to leave a comment below. Write, "I walk in my true identity." Your words help this message reach others who are silently battling misjudgment and misunderstanding. Don't keep this revelation to yourself. Share it with someone who needs clarity, healing, and confirmation today. Your engagement helps spread truth, awaken awareness, and strengthen this community of chosen ones around the world.